What's up, party people, and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to break away from my normal product review based videos and just get kind of chatty, kind of personal, a little more opinionated, and just, I don't know, one might say sassy. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little nervous to do this video because anytime you do a more personal, opinion based video, you kind of open the door for people to be offended and take things very personally, and that's not my intention. But today I want to talk about trends and techniques, and I'm not really sure what I'm going to call this video, but just things that I don't find appealing or things that I used to find appealing that I no longer do. I think these are things that we're going to look back on and probably make fun of ourselves over. The same way that we're making fun of makeup that we did in 2016 or 2017. I just feel like we have tunnel vision when it comes to current trends because we're always looking for something new. Like we're looking to evolve ourselves and evolve our looks and be current. And obviously you can do whatever you want to do. Me saying I don't like something isn't me telling you you shouldn't do it. This is not a personal attack against anybody that does these things. I mean, it's really not that serious. Look at me as the best friend who is actually honest with you, not a yes man. So let's get started. Number one is the bright, like stark white under eye. I've learned that if you have dark circles or if you have like deep set under eyes, like if you have hollows, I call them caves. Like if you have any kind of flaw under your eye, a bright too light under eye concealer will emphasize that 100%. I definitely don't think we see it as much now, but I still see people on TikTok and YouTube that they're doing this super, like I would say at least 4 to 5 shades lighter under eye concealer, and then they're baking it, which lightens it up even more. And I just don't think it looks as good as we think it does. Next trend, I'm probably not gonna put a picture in for this one because I don't want to call anybody out, but blush on the nose. And it's one thing to do like a light little, just a little sweep across the nose, but when you're applying it all on your nose, the tip of your nose, the bridge of your nose, it just, what is that doing? It's so funny, like all these things that we're doing now, you might as well not apply foundation. The way I see it is that this does nothing to flatter anybody. Okay, this next one, this might get me into some heat, but lip filler lips, okay? Balloon lips is what I call them. This is no bueno. Please stop. And they age you. I'm sorry, but they age you. And yes, you can obviously tweak some things. You can modify it a little bit. Maybe a slight feel, like a little, just a little bit of a feel would be better, but I feel like it's one of those, it's almost like gambling. Like I think it becomes addicting for people. And then I've heard people say, you know, I got lip filler and then it started dissolving and this part started looking funky. So I had to get some injections in there to make that look more normal. And then this part started looking kind of funky. So I had to get injections to look more normal there too. And I feel like it's just a domino effect. And a lot of times it's not something you realize until it's too late. Things go south really fast. People always get them too big and they look, I'm gonna be honest, it looks kind of goofy when people smile. Yeah, you might look good for that Instagram picture where you're posing like this, but when you smile or laugh, it looks kind of scary. But also from a social media standpoint, like a social media society standpoint, it's irritating that everyone's looking the same. It's really rare to find somebody that doesn't have these huge lips and doesn't have like this certain look. Everyone looks like clones. There's no variety in the ice cream, okay? Like everyone's vanilla. I feel like whatever we're born with, it's gonna suit us best. So I don't really know if I consider the next one to be a trend. It's more of just an idea. And the idea is that darker brows make you look younger. I remember a long time ago whenever I was just learning makeup and I would hear makeup artists and different educators talk about because our brows naturally lighten over time and they just kind of thin out over time, then fuller, darker brows will make you look younger. I think that growing up with certain celebrities and seeing, how they've aged, how their makeup has changed over the years and stuff, and just comparing the two is what really enlightened me. And then also on myself, every celebrity that I've seen whose eyebrows are a lot darker and fuller than they used to be when they were younger, they look older. And I am going to give you an example of this. So let's take Jennifer Aniston, for example. This is early 2000s, Friends days. And this suited her face and her eyes and her bone structure and everything way better, in my opinion, than this. This, in my opinion, makes her look older. It makes her look more manly. It doesn't really suit her features. Like it just kind of makes her face look harsh. And I truly think that if you were to do her brows the way that she was doing in the early 2000s, she would look so much better. Again, I don't think it's a matter of, oh, well, she's younger, so that's why it looked better because it's a younger face. I truly don't think that's the reason. Again, techniques are not one size fits all. Like, you can't do the same thing on every face and expect the same outcome and same result. Carrie Underwood's another person who I love, that I think that her makeup artist is very, like, they're very up to date on the trends. Like, they're doing what everyone else is doing. And I think that her makeup looks so much better back in the day, like in the early mid 2000s, than what it does now. Brows in particular are one of those things I don't think should be a trend, period. Now, obviously there are some people that can pull it off. I think Brooke Shields is one that can pull it off, but it's not because she's changed the way she's done her brows over the years. This is what she's always looked like. Like, here's a picture of her younger. Here's a picture of her older. Like, she's had the same brows. They've always been dark. They've always been kind of fluffy and bushy. So I don't think she's someone that it ages. Like, it kind of works with her face shape because I think this is how she's always looked, like from the time she was really young. Sometimes lighter is better. Sometimes thinner is better. Just figure out what works best for your shape and your structure and stuff. So this next one is one that's been a very hard pill for me to swallow because I love makeup, I love playing in it, but I've realized that I think that every woman, okay, I'm just gonna say every woman, I don't even care. I think that every woman looks better and looks younger with less eyeshadow. Shimmers in particular, I started realizing like maybe a year ago that less eyeshadow makes me look younger, and then once I had that epiphany, I see that everywhere now. And it's not a matter of, oh, shimmers will make your eyes look more old, or, you know, shimmers aren't for, you know, if you've got a lot of fine lines and wrinkles and texture and stuff. Like, I understand the idea that shimmers do attract the eye to that area. So if you have a lot of fine lines and wrinkles and stuff, then yeah, maybe in theory, shimmers can emphasize those things. Not always. There's tricks of the trade and hacks and stuff, but that's the theory. That's not even what I'm saying. Like, I'm saying that it just closes your eye off. I've seen, not just with myself, but every celebrity, like female celebrity that I've seen in TV shows and movies where they have less makeup on, they look better. But I'm about to upset an entire generation of women with this one. Lash extensions don't look good. And here's the thing, I think that they could look good. Like, I think that there is a better way of doing them. And I think the problem is that there's only a few lash extension brands. So I feel like the trainers are training everyone the exact same way. And they're training them to put on these big, floofy, fluffy, thick, super, super black lashes. And a lot of them don't even like make them look shorter towards the inner portion. Like this, to me, there's nothing that looks good about this. They look like 10 layers of false lashes stacked on top of each other. The majority of cases of people that I've seen with them, I think that the lash extensions just kind of weigh people's eye down. A lot of times they're so heavy looking that it makes people look more tired. A lot of times you don't even notice someone's eye color. You just see lash extensions. It's so ironic that the purpose of lash extensions is to, number one, look better without makeup on. Like, you want to feel better naturally, but unless you have a full glam, full face of makeup on, it looks jarring. I feel like there's just this very standard way of teaching how to apply lash extensions, and I don't think that everyone has the eye for it. I don't think every lash stylist should be doing lashes just because they go and get a certificate and spend 3 days or a week or 2 weeks or whatever in training. Like, it's not that simple. And it's one of those trends that's targeted towards women, as pretty much every trend is, that number one, keeps them coming back for more. It's something that you have to maintain. It's expensive, but not only that, it's something that's hurting you along the way. Like, it's damaging something and kind of keeps you coming back for more. Because I have seen so many comments, okay? I've seen so many people talk about having lash extensions for a long time and then stop getting them. And I've not seen one person not complain about their lashes having a hard time growing back, their lashes falling out really bad through the process and then also after, or their lashes being really sparse. It's almost like it's addicting because if you don't get them, then you don't have anything. It's kind of like fake nails. Fake nails is another one of those things that if you you get it done all the time, you almost have to keep doing it or else your nails are ass. Even getting nails like once or twice in a row, like it takes them such a long time to get back to the normal state where they're not brittle and they don't easily break just by scratching my skin lightly, or they're not paper thin. Like it takes such a long time to get away from that. But I think it's really gross that these trends, you know, it's not like there's no harm whatsoever. And I'm like, that's one thing if it's something that, you know, like putting blush on your nose. There's no harm in putting blush on your nose. That's another thing when there are these trends that are expensive, number one, but they also cause like long-term damage that it's hard to reverse, you know? So I had another epiphany this year. I feel like this year's been the year of like beauty epiphanies for me for some reason. This is an idea that I think across the board, no matter where you're from, what geographical location you're in, like this is something that across the board, everyone takes on this idea. You go darker in the winter, you go bleach all over and lighter in the summer. Like that's just something that a lot of us do. It is so horrible. Like it is so damaging to go from one end of the spectrum to another, like to go from dark to light. Like it damages the integrity of the hair so bad, and it's just not worth it. I think honestly, the way that I apply my makeup made me realize this because, you know, I've done the whole face frame thing for a long time now, and whenever I'd apply either a foundation that maybe wasn't the right tone for me or applying bronzer, the bronzer kept getting in my blonde. And I would look at myself in the mirror, especially in the car, and I would see this big blonde face frame right here next to this really bold bronzer, and it looks so odd. And then I started thinking about it. Like I started seeing people in videos and stuff, and it just kind of corroborated what I was originally thinking, which is that I think that people actually look better with darker hair when they have more coloring to them, versus whenever you have light hair, you can be more pale. Like it's not so much of a stark contrast. I think that ultimately everyone should stick to pretty much the same thing, just make small minor tweaks to it, or just kind of stick to the same color all the time instead of, you know, being super drastic about the hair color. But I think that we've had it in reverse this entire time. That is it for trends and techniques and just things in general that I don't find appealing. Once again, this video was not to offend anybody. I promise you that is never my intention. And you shouldn't click on a video that is opinion based if you're afraid that I might talk about something that you do, because chances are you probably wouldn't make a comment about it if I didn't talk about something you did. So yeah, sit on that. But again, if you like videos like this where I'm a little more personal and brutally honest and opinion based, then make sure you give this a big old thumbs up. Here are a couple more things you might like to check out next. So just venture around, make yourself at home. Subscribe if you're not already, and turn the notification bell on to always see my stuff. And I will see you guys in the next one. Mwah.